Okay, everybody's got their feet in frenzy going here. All the fake news media can edit in all their little fake clips and everything to this, but folks watching online will see the truth. I got a little statement I'm going to make, and then later I'm going to put online some of these documents. We're going back 3 years ago. I didn't file for divorce. I never tried to take my kids away from my ex-wife. 4 separate times she filed to take them away. The courts, the guardian ad litems, the system thought it was horrible. I got to say, actually, the system here in liberal Austin said, this is child abuse. We're taking your kids away and giving them to you. And I said, well, I want to be with their mom too. She said, no, they're with me and not with you. In 5 separate filings, 4 just in the first 3 years of it. But we're now over 3 years into this. So that's the reality. I know the media won't get that right. In fact, this case wasn't even ever about that with the media. Our closing arguments weren't even covered by the media. Everything was cherry-picked. Just like we're showing this live feed right now, we will show what we actually said versus what MSM shows and how it's taken out of context. And that's why mainstream media is collapsing. That's why it's dying. And that's why you guys desperately sit there and say that I'm fake news or I'm an actor. When somebody asks, you know, if I'm in a movie, am I an actor? Am I a fake? No, when I'm playing a role in a movie, I'm playing that part. But when I'm politically speaking for something, I totally believe it. And I'm not bought and paid for by the big corporations. I'm not funded by people like George Soros. I'm funded by my listeners and my viewers, over 45 million conservatively a week. So here's my basic statement that I wrote on this whole situation. I want to respond to the grossly inaccurate media reports that I lost custody of my children. My ex-wife and I agreed 2 years ago, at the time of our divorce, to be in a joint managing conservatives for our 3 wonderful children. My ex-wife went to trial asking for her to become the sole managing conservator of our kids and limit me to supervised access, and gave no reasons. What she said in the trial I wanted to take kids away is what she put in her filing. Pretty interesting. The jury resoundingly rejected her request for sole custody and left us at the same place where we began this horrible journey over 3 years ago. This jury agreed we should remain as joint managing conservators, while the only change being who can designate the primary residence, effectively a change of 10 miles. As only the judge in the trial can decide what amount of time each parent will have with their children, I am confident that the judge will carefully consider the various schedules that have been put in place in the last 2 years and will give each of us the time that is appropriate. I have, throughout this ordeal, deferred to the experts in the court to determine my children's schedule with due regard to their own wishes, something that was ignored, their own wishes, to reside mainly with me. I have and will continue to place my trust in the court to continue to do so, what is the best interest of my children. And I say that, quite frankly, because I was just blown away by the fact that I had a divorce filed on me, and then I agreed to have guardian ad litems and social workers investigate me and have all this alcohol, drug testing done, even though I'd never been in trouble in my life. And they said, you're a wonderful dad. Here's your kids. And then I've come back 4 or 5 times in court trying to work towards my wife being 50% or my ex-wife. And then the media won't even touch on that. And it turns into some story that I had my kids and I'd taken them and I was this alienator, when the literal definition of alienation was engaged in. So you dehumanize me and my children, you dehumanize yourselves. That's what this comes down to. And so all I want is the truth to come out on all of this, because I didn't file for divorce. I didn't trigger this. The courts, 3 separate judges and an arbitrator, took my children away from my ex-wife and gave them exclusively to me. I never asked for that. I want to be with them. I love them. But the incredible lies that were put out during this trial with never any evidence was absolutely amazing and mind-boggling. So understand that, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the first modern trials where you have corporate establishment, mercenary media perched in the courtroom, literally cherry-picking, twisting, and distorting everything. And that's why it's accelerated the demise of the corporate media. You guys wonder why you have dwindling audiences, why you don't have support. It's because you deceive people, you lie to people. And I know you've got corporate masters who order you to do that. I know you've got editors that add disinformation to your stories. But again, that's the bottom line. Nothing the media got about this was right except one thing. The media was sitting there watching the case saying it's going absolutely terribly bad for his ex-wife. But that's because you were actually not using emotion. You were looking at the facts. And all the experts who were triggered and called in via the state by my ex-wife, all of it, I and my children were the victims of alienation. We were the victims of a certified program to absolutely pull them away from me forever, where I would never see them again, or only see them on supervised visits for no reason. And that's why the liberal counties of Hays and Austin and Travis County said, that's why the super liberal counties of Hays County and Travis County said, Alex Jones, we may not agree with your politics, but you're a great dad. Here's your kids. And then the media got involved and perched in there and put out their propaganda and splashed on the front page of the papers as if you had some victory against me. My audience and my listeners see through all of this garbage and are fully aware of what's happened. So again, much of the court record's public now. If any of you even want to claim your mainstream media, you will actually discover the fact that it was the court-appointed PhD that said, I engage in no alienation. It was the guardian ad litem, PhD, highly respected, that said that there was alienation going on against me and my children and took them away to stop it. So you have now bought into the inverse of reality, and it all turns into a big comedy spectacle, and then you guys spin it and say, well, that's what you do sometimes. And then, so it's supposedly okay for you to do it, when in truth, I didn't do it. What you covered was something out of context and another deception. That's why InfoWars is exploding. That's why our support is exploding. That's why we have more visitors and more listeners and more financial support than I had even on election night with 80+ million viewers and listeners in 1 week. So thank you all. In the last 2 weeks, your mainstream media deception has only intensified the power of InfoWars as people across the world see that I'm under attack with attempts to take my children from me, lawsuits, attempts to put me in jail, attempts to destroy me. Google admits they were basically setting up systems to ban us off the internet. All of it's coming out because I'm not a coward and I'm not bought and paid for by multinational corporations. I'm standing up for this country and I'm telling the truth. And serious men and women for every race, color, and creed know the truth. And nationalism and freedom and renaissance and true liberalism is awakening again, and all the old corporate whore media systems are going to be swept away like a big rain coming in and flooding into the gutters. So that's the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. A lot more coming in the near future as we move forward in defense of this republic and in defense of freedom and in defense of the truth. Infowars.com. And I want to thank all the viewers and listeners out there. You've got this whole sea of media right here. All here to pretend like they're media. Some of them might be real. To pretend like they're media. And then to just sit there and, oh, there's Alex Jones, the prop. Here, let our editors put the normal, little comments in and disinformation and lies about him. And let's pretend we're reporters. Let's pretend that we actually went out and did something. Let's pretend we actually went and interviewed somebody and actually found the truth. Let's pretend that we're actually real press. That's what all this is. So our listeners watching right now can see the folks that are pretending. Here, go ahead, Buckley. Sure. Well, with such disdain for the media, I've sat there watching the media twist and lie about me and my family for weeks. So what I'm doing is trolling the media, like I always do, calling you out here so that the real people out there watching can see the truth and understand it. So we have a record of what happened to then compare what I said to what you said and what you twisted and what you did. So you're not even real media, you see. It's the process of groveling to the corporate systems to sit there and try to get them to give you some funding that if you're a good little deceptive person, they'll somehow, give you more jobs or more money. So that's all this really is. Any real questions?
What do you say to your kids and all of this? This is a very public,
Absolutely. That's a great question. What do I say to my children who I never in 3 years brought into this, who I never made public? I never called the media to come here. I was never involved in any of that. It was other people that called the little vampires in, to be all part of this in the attempt, to sit there and, point their finger and go, there's the bad man. There's the bad man. Let's shut him down. Let's put words in his mouth. My children know that the corporate media lies, and they go to school and they hear about this, and they know the truth, and they say, why does the media say that? Why does the media say this? And I explain, they're not the media. They're the people that, with the corporate globalist, helped hijack this country, and they're being torn out of control now. They're being removed like a tick off a dog's rear end, being torn off this country, and they realize it as parasites, as little followers, as conformists, posing as trendies, that their time is short. Well, I know that. I've talked to 4 lawyers about the Chobani lawsuit, and they say it's totally frivolous, an absolute complete PR stunt. And I was on the phone with my DC lawyers and my Idaho lawyers today, and we were thinking about an aggressive corporate strategy to actually go after the New York Federal Reserve that he's a board member of, and the school lunch program that he's part of, and these other loans and deals he's got going that are monopolistic. My lawyers also dealt with some of the suits that were on the Boston Herald when they found the Saudi money going to the local group. That got shut down, and then everything got paid back. So yeah, I've got those lawyers right now. They're all handling that. So we're looking at counter lawsuits because we reported on news about the reported sexual assaults that the media said didn't happen, but they've now pled guilty for. Then they argue, well, that's not connected to the yogurt maker. No, just the owner who pushes for refugees to be brought in with George Soros and George Soros' founded law firm that's suing me. So technically, I'm not saying the owner of it himself imported these people. The point is they're being brought in unvetted. So we covered other people's reports, and then they sit there and play games with little factoid parts of it. So we're very, very confident with that. And what happens is when we get attacked, the listenership and support just goes up exponentially. So attacks go up to here, support goes up to there. And then attacks go up to here, support goes up to those trees. And then support goes up, and it just goes up and up and up. It's like an absolute elevator. So that's what's happening is people get it. They understand it's a war. They understand it's a fight. They understand what's going on with the corporate media, and they absolutely love it. So we understand the Democratic strategy. We were already aware of it months ago. But there's all sorts of slap statutes in Texas and a lot of really serious issues. So we're looking forward to discovery on Shabani, and we're looking really forward to looking into Turkey, the Kurds, and the funding of the operation. We've also got our intel sources on that. Technically, we already had joint custody. That's all I'd ever sought. My ex-wife had sought sole and supervised visits. Okay, so that was in the original filing, and so because that happened, I was always just trying to get joint. So the courts, when we had a divorce in 2005, said we had joint, but then the courts came in and said because of some of the issues and the fact that she went off to a treatment center in Arizona, which came into the trial, didn't seem to matter. The news never reported it, and other stuff I won't even get into. And he's like, I had nothing to do with it. She was gone for 5 weeks. And then it just turns into this whole fantasy land with mainstream media. And so the courts and the judges and the social workers and the guardian items that she'd triggered, that she brought in on me, I just said, sure, nothing to hide. Test my blood, whatever, everything. They're, yeah, you're great. Come watch me at my house. Wow, you're a really great guy. Wow, we don't like how you were on the air, but you're really a cool guy. 14 different PhDs, experts, psychiatrists, all of them said, man, doing home studies, you name it, you're a really great guy. Here's your kids, without me even asking. And then I'm in court trying to get a relationship back, saying, here, let's be 50-50. Kids need their mother. And then there's the news stories that I am alienating children. Total, complete lie. None of it true. No, I had total custody, but it was under joint. It all gets, well, I'm not a lawyer. We had joint, but I was the main conservator. Yes, and then now she's joint with where their main house is listed, but it's all up to the judge, who by the way, is one of the most thorough judges I've ever seen. Amazing how she keeps everything. I mean, I'm not saying she's perfect, but I was pretty amazed by how she had a lot of fair rulings, stayed on top of things. Basically, until she rules in the next few months on what this jury did, she is still exactly like the custodial parent. So all this is the jury told folks they wish it was like a third or fourth choice. They just wanted to give mom some more time. And I totally get that. It seems reasonable. It's just that she never went through the steps that were put in by the social workers and the PhDs that she called in. She wanted us assessed. She called them in. And then the reason there were like 34 of them is she would get rid of each group of them because they wouldn't say what she wanted. And then she would get a new group. They go, okay, here's a new group. Or I don't like this judge. The judge would say, okay, I'm stepping down. New judge. Next judge would look at the information, do the exact same thing. So it was over and over again the same story. And look, I care about my ex-wife. Mental illness is a very, very serious thing when it's, the type of situations she's been diagnosed with. And look, none of us are perfect. And I'm sure, we all have issues. But the bottom line is it's about my children. It's not about what I say or what I do or how the media edits what I say or how they edit, what I stand for. It's like I saw Stephen Colbert like 2 months ago play this clip off YouTube. Tiny little clip. They had it shrunk down. And it was a clip saying, I'm anti-gay. They'll probably take that and say I said that. That's not me discredited, it's the media. I said, I'm anti-gay. But the real clip said, I'm not anti-gay. So they take that and put that on TV. That doesn't discredit me, that the editors on his show or people did that. That's their problem, that they took that. That's up to the judge. But no, they're with me.
They're with you.
Yes.
Okay.
So when do they go to the mother?
It's up to the judge.
Do you know what the timeline is for the judge?
Well, that's the thing. No, I don't. I mean, months, probably. But the point is that this judge,
You get to see them.
well, that's all determined by the judge.
So for now, until that decision happens, you have the kids and that's it.
Well, she sees them a couple times a week and overnights and all that.
So there's a
The
visit.
stuff that was testified to is fiction.
All that work now.
It's just divorce stuff. And, people sit there and make fun of what I cover and what I do and say, oh, Alex Jones doesn't have any listeners or any viewers. He's this outlier. But then everything I do gets covered because they know the truth. We have up to 80 million viewers a week, always about 45 million. That's big. That's double the size of Rush Limbaugh. That's bigger than most Fox News shows throughout a whole week. So that's why there's so much demonization. That's why there's so many attacks. That's why there's so many misrepresentations, is because that's where the media is. But it's a complex issue. And I would just, ask folks to just wait and see what the ruling of the judge is. And I have faith in that. And I just want whatever's great for the kids. I hope the kids are with their mother more, as long as she's doing well, and as long as she's not dysregulating and stuff like that. And I get people are scared of Donald Trump. And I get that it's like fun to then kind of pick some low-hanging fruit like myself and kind of make that the piñata and say that's the devil and stuff. But I'm very critical of Trump, very critical of the Democrats. I'm critical of both political parties. That's really another manufactured mainstream media thing where, I'm very happy about Trump on some issues, like trying to get our jobs back to America. I think it's terrible that Trump is talking about indicting Assange, who he said, if you got more stuff, give it to me. Trump said, if you've got more WikiLeaks, give it to me, WikiLeaks. That's totally wrong. And I've been critical of that for weeks. The media won't pick up on that because it's all just this distortion of where I stand and what I do. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a libertarian. Take human-animal chimeras. They have jokes all over TV saying, Jones thinks they're crossing humans with pigs and cows. Well, 20 years ago, they were crossing humans and animals and growing them in utero for body parts. That's mainstream, scientific journals. But this cameraman's laughing right here, right? This guy right here. You could type in human-animal chimeras, get 100,000 mainstream articles. But still, people are preconditioned to make a joke that it doesn't exist. Like Harvard saying fluoride lowers your IQ after just 2 years on 1.6 parts per million by at least 10 points, 12 points, 15 points. People just make jokes. They don't go look up the Harvard studies. It's all just funny because people are followers and it makes them feel powerful to just laugh at stuff. Here, let's talk to this camera guy right here. Because when I was talking about human-animal chimeras, he was laughing. Do you not believe human-animal chimeras exist? Couldn't say one way or another. See, that's the smart thing. Like 1984.
Spider goat.
Yeah, spider goats, all of it. They'll probably play that. Probably have Colbert go, oh, look, spider goats. Do you have any idea how dangerous all these human-animal chimeras are? Do you have any idea of the super viruses and the mutations that it's creating? That are cancer's way up, allergies are way up. This will affect your kids, man. This isn't funny. I've had top scientists on about this. 20 years ago, they had rhesus monkeys you could buy in Hong Kong, bazaars that glow in the dark that are part jellyfish. Think that's funny? They have horrible lives. It's incredibly painful for them. Colbert will probably play that because monkeys in medical experiments is funny. It's funny that I'm upset about that. It's funny. It's something good to laugh at because it's fun to be ignorant and just be a trendy. It's fun to laugh at Alex Jones. It's fun. Randall, get my lawyer over here. Want to come talk? Hey, how's it going? Oh, you bet. We got to move back to the sidewalk, folks. So, guys, thanks.
So the public can travel in and
Absolutely. Makes sense. Thank you, sir. Anyways. Randall Wilhite, my great lawyer, his name's on the family law book here in Texas. Said he's never seen a trial like this in his 30-something years. Randy, get over here and talk to the folks about the whole State of the Union right now.
Well, I'm not sure about the State of the Union, but I have had a great opportunity to represent this man for the last 3 years. We've been through a lot of battles together. We've been through a lot of wars. We've been fighting for his children. We're still going to be fighting for his children. We've got a little bit more to do in court, and looking forward to the opportunity to presenting the case. And I think Mr. Jones has said it all so far, and I think that's all I want to say at this point, just to kind of keep it broad and general.
Absolutely, and a lot of stuff going on. If you look at this case, they keep asking me, Who has the kids? Where's it going? When are we going to find out? Yeah, what's happening? That's up to the judge right now.
Yeah, we have a hearing that I think is going to be scheduled in about a month before our judge in the court. And at that time, the judge may hear more evidence, may not, but at that time, the judge is going to make an apportionment of time between Alex Jones and Kelly Jones, and we're going to have to wait for that decision. That's something that the jury doesn't do. That's something that the judge does. That's just the way our law sort of breaks down those two different elements. So we're waiting for that. That's going to be roughly in about a month. We don't have a specific date, or I'd give it to you, but it's sometime around, we think, around the end of May. So,
and Texas is the only state that has juries for family law.
Texas is the only state in the United States, as far as I know, and I think I got it, that allows juries to decide issues of child custody. So we've had that trial, we've had that split verdict from yesterday, and we're going to take that and go forward and see what Judge Naranjo will do with how she apportions the time between Alex and between Kelly.
And I got to tell you, I am really impressed, not just with this judge individually, but the whole court system, how professional, how you guys keep track of everything. I mean, I got to say, it's been a real eye-opener for me how complex this stuff is.
It is complex. There's a lot of moving parts. We were in the good, capable hands of Judge Naranjo. We still are. I don't need to comment on that anymore. I'm not allowed to by the rules that govern lawyers, so I'm going to kind of keep it again at 40,000 feet. But there's more to this, and that's coming up, and we're going to do our best to fight for the Jones children.
All right, I'll see you back over there.
All right, thanks.
Did you come over to grab me?
No, I didn't. I came
over here to see the spectacle?
Yes.
All right, anyways.
Alex, how are you kids doing?
They're doing all right. My children are doing all right. They're just reading the newspaper. My children are doing pretty good. They're just reading the newspaper and they say, "That's not true, Dad," or "You didn't do that, Dad." And, there was so much going on in this trial where the media would sit there and either get wrong what was being said, or it'd be an evidentiary meeting, or something would be thrown out. There was a lot of stuff where there wasn't supposed to be evidence that came in, and then magically it still played, and then it was edited. It was just, but that's what happens when you're changing the world. That's what happens when the old decaying system is upset by people who don't have all the answers but just aren't going along with it anymore. And so, that happened when our country was founded. In places like North Korea and Venezuela, they don't have change. They live in stagnant control. Everybody follows orders. And then the people flee those countries and come here and bitch and complain about the little bit of freedom that's left and complain about the American system of free market. And that, of course, is until that system collapses. And then, we realize that we wish we wouldn't have killed America. But the globalists want to kill competition. They want to consolidate control. And so, again, I'm just here to tell everybody that InfoWars is growing. We're expanding. And I want to thank all the listeners and viewers for their prayers. But I just wanted to come over here and have a little press conference for you guys and clarify where everything is, where everything stands, and just realize that much of what is they would keep saying in the trial, the lawyers would just say, "He throws away the toys and he does this," and there'd never be a witness on the stand saying it. I was ready to hear, and he crucified Christ, and he sunk the Lusitania and the Titanic, and he shot Lincoln, at the Ford Theater, and Alex Jones robbed Fort Knox, and Alex Jones poisoned George Washington, and Alex Jones did this, Alex Jones did that. But the great news is, mainstream media is so discredited that the more they attack me, the more listeners and support we get. So it's quite a paradigm. But in little, nested areas of followers like here in Austin, Texas, it's pretty clear that the government worship, love you too, that the, government-loving corporate worship system, the fake liberal system still has its tentacles, growing and doing well. And so, we hope to try to revive some of the people, just like North Koreans are in a cult, or people in Venezuela are in a cult, people in Cuba are in a cult. We're just here speaking to all the pseudo-intellectuals and fops and others and just hoping that someday they break out of the control paradigm they're in. But regardless, it doesn't matter. We're just glad to be trailblazers and be free, and we're just really, really glad that that the American people are continuing to wake up. So thanks for coming out tonight. Have fun with however you guys distort this.
Do you have any remarks about some things that came out during the trial with
Again, that was all out of context, and I was saying that wasn't a good thing. So that it turned into that I said it was a good thing. That's all part of the deception. And I get it. You guys should try your hand being fiction writers. And write pure fiction, because the BS you're writing in the newspapers, you'd make a lot more money in fiction, writing fiction stories. That's what I'm telling you. That's why the corporate media brands me as fake or as an actor when I never said that or never did that, or they play semantical games. If I do 90% serious news and 10% satire and comedy and punditry, And if I'm sitting around on the show playing the part of a British aristocrat, saying, oh, I love the New World Order, that doesn't mean I'm actually a British aristocrat and love the New World Order. And it doesn't mean I've sold out and I'm an actor. And that's just playing semantical games with your audience. And it's got to be sad to only have an audience of people who are in basically sleep trance-like states. I mean, mainstream TV viewers are admittedly lower IQ, lower income, near trance state. And so I'm not talking to people in a trance state. I'm talking to people that are awake. All right, guys, we appreciate you coming out. I want to see the fiction you guys come up with, how you twist this. It's very entertaining. All the big shows, all the big comedy shows, all the big nightly shows. Love the comedy, love the deception. Let's keep it going. Just keep reporting on how we're changing the world. You've got to report on us and distort the truth, turn it upside down. But even though you turn it upside down, people know it's powerful because there's still the image of truth there, even though it's upside down. So we'll continue being the people changing history. We'll be the people that actually force the serious issues onto the table, and we'll continue to get ridiculed as all trailblazers are. So we love you, and someday you'll be out of your comas, mainstream media. God bless you, and thank you so much.
Why mix the satire if it's such a serious matter?
Well, when I talk about satire, I'm very obviously satire.
Alex, did your wife get you in bed with the goblin?
Well, if I say that, he'll say I'm serious. Then they'll say he said he was joking. He'll say, hey, we're trying to catch Trump in bed with goblins. And there'll be headlines like, Jones believes Trump is having... I saw headlines like, Jones is obsessed with Trump having sex with goblins. And it's like,
y'all better quit dirty making my man. Dirty making.
Why do it if it's so serious?
Why
do it if it's so serious? If the subject matter is so
charging
serious.
into a goblin's nest.
No, but why mix it with the satire, with the hard news,
dirty
waking
making.
people up?
Kissing goblins. Goblins vomit. Catch them in bed with a
I'm
goblin.
asking a serious question. You know,
I
I
like
answer the
that.
serious question. Why mix the satire
It's
and
the same
funny
reason
stuff
why Colbert
with
and
the
Stewart
hard
got
news,
away with
you know?
being comedians and
Really?
news people.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's talk about that. I like to have fun. It's gallows humor.
Exactly.
If 5-10% of the time I say, hey, let's have a comedy piece, and I dress up like Gwar from the old Star Trek episode, and the media goes, look, he thinks he's a giant lizard, and I go, I'm acting, and they go, oh my God, you're an actor, you deceived all your viewers.
No.
Everybody knows that's bull, that's having fun.
Exactly.
I mean, Obama and Bush had like jokes at the White House.
They sure did.
Where they'd make jokes with the dog or the helicopter or whatever, and they're serious all the other time, so I'm not allowed to joke? When
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
joking, it's fake? All right, fist bump.
Yeah, you are.
All right, we're out of here. Hey, again, I'm looking forward to all your fiction.
Obama's children were really his own.
You know, that was a joke. That was a joke. I was sitting there with Cernovich on air, and then.
Well, hell,
I mean,
that's what he do best.
Here's an example.
Oh, get on him.
If you go back to who was the lady that was Joan Rivers? Joan Rivers jokes and says everybody knows that Obama's wife's a tranny, and a couple weeks later she dies. You know, in that medical experience she was going through, and. Then I said, look, Joan Rivers said she's a tranny, and then she's dead. The media then said, I said that Mrs.
They blew
Obama
it out
was...
of proportion. You guys did.
Exactly.
Do you worry that your readers took you seriously or your listeners took you seriously?
It was clearly a joke. We were laughing about it. Let me explain
Well, he
again.
did.
This
He
is a
did
fact.
take it seriously.
This is a fact.
He expected
This is
and
a
then
fact.
turned it into a joke.
This is a fact.
Now what that?
What happened
How about
is-
that?
That's right.
How about that?
It's going to be good.
How about that?
We got the new Colbert character right
How
here.
about that?
You know the name of the character? How about that? No, but I just reported on what Joan Rivers said. The media then said that I said it. I reported on Joan Rivers saying that Michelle Obama was a tranny. Everybody knows she's not a tranny. Everybody knows she's a Loch Ness Monster. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs, sourced from powerful organic herbs, and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality.